Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarett with another Spotlight interview, this time with my good friend Dave Dyson. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for being here. It's great to see you. And you're the owner and founder of Eclipse, and just great having you here today.
Yeah, thanks again. I'm always excited to be chatting with you. And my God, between you and I, let's see if we can keep it under an hour.
Yeah, let's see if we can do it. By the way, this won't be an hour, everybody. It'll just be a few minutes. These are quicker spotlight interviews, but Dave and I could do it for an hour. I know, Dave, I know once we get talking. Dave, you and I have known each other for a long time. You're one of my best speakers I've had when I was doing all the conferences, and it's great to reconnect with you. Tell us a little more for the people who don't know you. Tell us about Eclipse, what you do, who you help, that kind of thing, an overview.
Yeah, thanks for the pressure of making me have to be charming and articulate here. That's
Early in the morning.
yeah, it's very early in the morning here. Before I talk about what we do, I always talk about what I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe that technology and the way most large businesses are procuring, buying, and manage it not going as effectively as people want. Eclipse started
Yeah.
17 years ago out of the idea that there had to be a better way. Originally, we were very telecom focused, but as technology in the world has evolved, it's cloud, it's data centers, it's all of the stuff that's making the world work now, including AI in this day and age. So
Yeah.
there's so much complexity, there's so little support, particularly when you're talking about the big technology providers of the world. They've stripped support back. Enterprise IT staffs have gotten smaller over this 17 years we've been in business. So we're like this friction removal department for categories of complexity. And that's where myself and my awesome team come in to help large enterprises every day do this stuff a little bit better.
So you come in, you make it easier for people, but your core services, why don't you just go through that, if you don't mind, who you help and the kinds of projects that you help people with? That would be,
Yeah, core focus is what I would call, and I'll define this because
yeah.
everyone's definition is different, the middle market enterprise and above.
Okay.
So call it companies that are 500 million to maybe 10 billion in revenue is really the sweet spot for us.
Yeah.
The clients we have the most success with tend to have a lot in common. They have a lot of locations, and that might be domestically or globally. They might be all over the world.
Yeah.
They tend to have very stretched thin and small-ish IT staffs. As I like to say, to quote the scholar and poet Jay-Z, they have 99 problems. We're removing two or three, not all of them. We're coming in to augment and help and take away these tasks that can be very tar pity. Like I'll pick on building a big enterprise network, for
Yeah.
example. We're doing one right now for a big manufacturer headquartered in Germany with sites in 45 countries. That's a super duper complex project.
Yes.
And for them to apply a team to it that's going to do it one time, maybe in 10 years, it's going to be all this complexity, all this heartache, missed deadlines, things going wrong, bills getting screwed up on implementation. We're going to put a team in place to just make that all go better. We don't necessarily make that network. We work with partners to deliver it,
Yeah.
like the big global carriers who can do it and do it well. And we just make sure everybody's on their best behavior. And that also includes getting the client to think differently about how they move through the world.
That's
So
interesting.
we're helping them prepare to be successful. And I know because we've been at this a long time. The number of IT projects that fail from inception to not getting completed is massive.
Yeah.
Never mind what's going on with AI, where it's over 90% failure rate right now. Traditional IT infrastructure, software projects fail at about a 35% clip.
I've actually heard much bigger numbers than even that, but 35, let's go with that just
Yeah,
for me.
no, the numbers can be bigger depending on the category, but if you're failing one out of three times and somebody can come in and say, hey, we're going to make sure this goes right. We're going to be your risk mitigation department. We're
Yeah.
going to make sure the time, effort, and energy are going in the right direction. And by the way, it starts at the sourcing side. What happens often is people go out and they run a big RFP and they talk to 10 vendors and then they got this big eye chart of trying to compare it all. And I could have probably told you the two you probably want to work with based on your needs and cut
Yeah.
all that crap out and gotten you to the meat of the problem and helped you solve it. It's an efficiency play in that regard, but it's also taking yourself out of the chair and bringing an expert in who does this for a living. We put networks in every day. Your team's going to do it once every 7 years, every 10 years. Let us do it with you and for you, and you're going to have a much better result.
So I'm the client. Let's say I'm the CIO, CTO, CXO, and I'm in charge of the tech. And I know I need to upgrade our network, right? or our telecommunications or something that has to do with the network, basically, right? So instead of putting out this huge RFP process, and like you say, it could be a one-time team thing for my team to learn and investigate. They bring in basically you all who are a relatively smaller company, but you're experts at this, right? Am I hearing this right? You've
Yep.
done this hundreds, if not thousands of times. You come in, you know exactly where to tap.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that old joke. You know exactly where to tap to fix the stuff and make it work. And that's really your big value add. The other value add that I'm hearing is not only do you know where to tap, but you also have these relationships
Yes.
with the right providers. So you say, hey, for this element, you go with this guy.
Yeah.
This element, you go with these folks. You also know how to manage it. So that's a full service process.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very soup to nuts. And we want to work longitudinally with clients. Yes, we
Yeah.
will sometimes come in and do a project and then disengage.
Yeah.
But our best client relationships are 10, 12, 15 years old, and they're cross category.
Interesting.
I'll pick on a big underwear retailer up
Let's
in
hear that.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. We've been working with them for 15 years.
Yeah.
We've built their network. We did their entire store network across their 100 retail locations. We redid their contact center and customer experience. You said CXO.
Really?
We're still all using X and CXO as fill in the blank. I've been advocating for a couple of years. Anybody who has a consumer facing brand needs to elevate the person in charge of customer service to the chief experience officer.
I like that.
So that X being experience, because I think that there's so much that you can do right now with the tech to enable and engender better client experiences.
Yeah.
But again, it's overwhelming because there's so many AI charlatans out there saying, well, we've just written this thing and we got $100 million in funding. And where have you and I seen this before, right? All these companies with $50 million in seed rounds and Series A rounds, they're not all going to be here in a couple of years.
No,
so
they're not.
if you want to do something transformational in your organization, you better get that right and you better source it right. And you better know which questions to ask. And this is really common use case for us. If you have a 20-year-old Avaya or Cisco contact center call center solution, and you want to go to this modern AI-driven, assisting the agents, human-centric solution, this is not a simple upgrade to the next thing. This is a reimagining of how you do business.
Yeah.
You've got to slow it down and work with people who can help you assess your gaps, your needs. And then the tech comes so much further down the line, and people just want to rush off and buy tech. That's a mistake so many are making, and that's where so much heartache is coming in.
I'm glad you said that. I hear it from people we know in common, the CIO, Edward Don, Tim. He has gone out speaking. We've seen him talk, and he says the same thing. I interviewed him recently. You got to start with the business problem.
Yeah.
You got to focus on the fundamentals, the business problem first. And everybody's so enamored with it. Anybody who's been on a phone tree, right, knows how frustrating that could be. Now they added AI, and that could even be more phone tree. There's no way to get to a human. And why don't we do this?
Yeah, Alex, the AI that you're screaming representative at really doesn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get to a human. Oh, okay. So you want to get to a human? Let me help you with that. And it takes you to another AI. It's like, yeah, the AI is pretending it's a human. Why don't you tell us a couple stories? Maybe start with the most common reason people call you, and then also maybe a cool story about some of the new AI infused communication or networks that you're building. I think people would like to hear both of those stories.
So let me give you a story about a recent project we just wrapped up.
Okay, great.
A big, diverse global manufacturer, complicated network because it's all over the place. Lots of China sites, tons of Western Europe, Brazil. It's like the murderer's row of countries that are hard to do networking, and they have all of them, right? And for many years, they were with the bigs, who I'm not necessarily picking on, but again, they have their limitations. So they worked with Verizon, they were with Sprint, they were with AT&T. And they wanted something a little more next gen high touch. So we did a whole network transformation plan. We spent over a year and a half in planning with them, Alex. Our first step with them was let's renew what you currently have and start building the next plan so that when we do start the next project to take you to your next generation of networking, it's going to go a lot more cleanly. This is one of those things where it's a lot of deliberation, a lot of planning. You don't go build a multi-country network willy-nilly. You have to think it through. You have to see where the exposure points are. You have to make it work with the security platforms you have, right? So we did all of that in planning so that when we get to the execution part, we've measured 5 times, we're ready to rock. We're going to do the thing well. We're going to project manage it well. By the way, every network project I've ever worked on in my life, and I've done hundreds of them as a carrier guy, as the founder of Eclipse, I've never had one go perfectly.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a plan for all of the things that have to happen. This is also, you mentioned our relationships.
Yeah.
Our escalation paths are phenomenal because we have, you name a big organization, they have organizations that just support Eclipse because they recognize us as something bigger than any one client. We have thousands of client sites under management. So they're looking at us as this big conglomeration as opposed to a little company helping one company. They're seeing us as something much bigger.
Yeah, that's a good story. So you really came in and you helped that company. And when there was a problem that needed escalation, you had the relationships and you were able to keep that project moving.
Absolutely.
And confident that people, that's one of those 35% or more that could have failed if you didn't have those relationships and knew exactly who to call in those organizations. It's been delayed.
I would say unequivocally, that was one where
Yeah.
the contract was going into the shredder and the lawyers were getting called. That's how it's the stuff we can help avoid and get things to that successful end state everybody was hoping for in the first place.
So everybody's excited about AI, especially in the areas that you work in, customer facing, customer experience, whatever. Maybe give us a glimpse of what's possible and maybe share a story about that because we don't want to be stuck in a phone tree, obviously. But tell us where you're actually seeing some cool stuff and share some wisdom about that area.
Sure. I say this all the time. The speed at which the royal we in IT and the vendor community and the VCs have rendered the term AI meaningless is breathtaking. And what's happening is it's the shiny object syndrome. We have to have AI. We have to put AI in. I'm becoming almost a contrarian. I was a very early adopter. I'm still a champion for it, but it's
Of
this.
course.
AI is two things right now. Know what the hell problem you're solving.
Yeah.
If you think AI can solve a problem, really clearly identify that problem and how you think AI is going to solve it. And I'm going to say something that's very contrary to what's happening right now with mass layoffs in the name of AI and everything else. It's the people, it's the people, it's the
Yeah.
people. That's all. By the way, you can carve that in my tombstone. I'm going to be saying that until the end. Tech is only here to enable human interaction to go better.
I
It's
like
here
that
to
one.
enable us to do our jobs easier. Tech exists to serve us,
I
not the other
agree.
way around.
Yeah.
And so I'll give you a great use case. We just worked with a large national luxury furniture retailer on their contact center transformation. They were the story I told earlier, an old
Yeah.
Avaya needed to upgrade. They were tripping over it for 2.5 years because they hadn't defined what they were trying to solve with new tech and AI.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we're able to help people build a roadmap that says, here's where AI can really help. And one of my favorite use cases right now in customer service, it is actually making the human beings work better and more efficiently internally so they can better serve the external customer. My favorite
like
use
that.
cases.
Yeah.
It's well established and it works, and I can document that it works and it can make people more efficient. The tech is coaching the agents in real time. The way we say it in the customer
I like
experience
that.
business, every agent is your best agent because it's being actively coached on what to do. How many times have you heard this on an 800 number call? Damn computer, system slow. They're logging in and out of multiple apps. They're looking around at screens. World where the right answer is getting surfaced to them because it's listening to the conversation and says, Alex is calling. He's a gold status member here on our
Yeah.
airline. He's flying to Tahiti next week. So let's skip all the BS. He's probably calling about the Tahiti trip, right? So
Yeah.
so this is all
Yeah.
being surfaced as the
Good point.
conversation's going on. And
Yeah.
and those are doable, winnable things you can get right now that actually help your team work better, take better care of your customers. I'm an old school guy in this regard. Great companies take care of their people and make their lives easier and their jobs go well. And those people in turn take care of the customers who come back and buy more stuff. That's sort of the way we've always tried to operate here. Take care of your folks who take care of the clients. We all take care of the community together, and it all just works in the end. I believe technology should be an enablement layer for that to happen in every business of every size, by the way.
100% agree. You said so many things that I agree with in that statement. And AI is here to serve us. Technology is here to serve us. And I love the fact that your example was about the human in the loop and the human is the interface. And one of the best use cases of AI and customer experience is to have the AI help those humans do
Yes.
a better job. I think that makes a lot of sense because these people, especially the experienced ones, have discernment. We all know AI drifts. We all know it makes up stuff and it's not perfect. It's extremely helpful. And a lot of people don't really realize it's an algorithm just guessing, serving up words.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have emotions, doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just serving up stuff. Yeah, it's incredible what it's doing. But it takes a human in the loop right now. It takes a human in the loop. And I would suggest for a while to know if that advice or that content is worth using or not. And so your example is perfect in the customer experience arena. Let's make those people more effective and do a better job to serve the customer.
Yeah.
And everybody's happier. You get more results, faster results. The people that are in the chair feel better, and the people that are the customers feel better. So that's a great tool. You didn't say it, but I imagine in the process, you're training the AI.
Absolutely. Every year in January, I release a predictions for the year ahead article. I call it Nostradamus.
I like that. That's good.
It's a really well engaged with piece on LinkedIn, but I put out 5 predictions for what's going to happen in tech that coming year, mostly adjacent to what we do at Eclipse. And one of the things I said this year was, I am predicting a future where a contact center agent, a job we've usually thought of as highly transactional, huge turnover, low pay, is actually going to become a super skilled, highly paid job. And here's why. Imagine you have 500 humans doing that job today.
Yeah.
5 years from now, it's going to go down 400, 300, 200 to 100 of the most highly skilled, empathetic, trained up people that are certified in the thing you do, who understand how to solve complex problems, who understand how to connect with other humans. Because yes, in this day and age, by the way, if a human being is picking up the call when someone says, "Where's my order?" you're already doing something wrong. There's a lot of automatable stuff, and there has been for a long time. And as AI gets smarter and better, what you're going to do is get these humans more synthesized down. You'll need fewer of them, but they're going to have to be much more highly skilled. And that remaining crew of people, I think it's going to be a very high skilled job when it's all said and done. So,
I think you're right. I could see someone sitting in that chair, videos, things like that. You use the example of Alex is going to Tahiti. That's probably why he's going. Person gets on the phone, says, "Hey, I see you're about to go to Tahiti. Are you calling about that trip?" To me, that is a great use case. So this has been great interview. A lot of great work that you and your team are working on. I appreciate you sharing with the community. I want people to know about you and your team and the stories and the wisdom that you're sharing. You and I have talked. I know you had experiences last year. You're on the precipice of making a big change and you've been running this company, built a very successful company, but something inspired you and you chose to keep going and work towards a higher mission.
yeah, I'll give you the very Cliff Notes version. And anybody watching this, I'm a pretty open book of a guy. This is 2022, and I was stuck. I was frustrated. Life wasn't going exactly the way I wanted it to. And that all ended up with me buying a van and going to live in it for 6 months.
Wow.
When I turned the ignition on that thing and left Chicago and just started heading out into America, and I did spend half a year wandering around the country. I was like, I'm going to sell the company. I'm just done with all of it, as I always joke, but it wasn't really a joke. I'm just going to go while away my days on a beach in Spain somewhere and call it, right?
Because you had built this great company.
That journey started unlocking things within me. It got me thinking differently. It got me re-energized and re-inspired about the work I do, my team, and this community of people I've been able to build. One of the coolest parts about going out in the world like that is I actually wrote a single LinkedIn post and said, "Hey, everybody, it's your buddy Dave. Things aren't going great, so I'm going to go live in a van." And the outpouring I got from clients, from partners, from my team, everybody was just like, "Hey, come stay with me. Come hang out if you're in Dallas." And I would just wind around and see people. And I got through the end of it and I was like, oh my goodness, everything I've known and thought about business was wrong. I'm only in this for one reason. It's the people. I'm a helper. I want to help people. I'm helping my team build amazing lives, buy homes. They're able to get out in their communities, start families. I'm able to help my clients. I'm able to help causes I believe in because of the abundance of this business and all that. So I'm like, my goodness, why would I ever sell this business? And so the pivot is, you and I've talked at length about, and it's probably 10 more podcasts. We're building an infinite company. I now am in charge of the, as we lovingly call it, de-Davification of Eclipse, so that this thing can perpetuate and keep going without me, because I have this amazing, talented team of people surrounding me, and I want to see what they can do next when I get the hell out of the way.
That's wonderful.
So
Yeah.
it's a much longer story, and if anybody wants to hear about it, there's so much more to tell. But now every day is just like joy is the operating system. We're having a blast. I'm having more fun at work than I've ever had in my career. And I love the work I'm doing, the people I do it with, and the people I get to do it for. And talk about playing with the house's money at this point. I can't imagine a world where I'm not doing this, but I'm also trying to enable a world where others get to carry on. I had the vision to start all these years ago.
First of all, we've talked for a while about this. So everybody, it's an incredible story if you get a chance. And maybe you'll come back and tell more of the story. But if you get a chance to talk to Dave, you should, because it's very inspiring, Dave. And you went on this journey, you built the business, you were ready for an exit, and you got re-inspired by the connections that you made, the things you learned about yourself and why you were doing stuff. And you told me about this book. I'm going to share the name. It's called The Infinite Game. And you told me to go read it. I started reading it. Told you that before we talked. And Simon Sinek, you shared this with me, but Simon Sinek said it's not, you can play to win or you can play for a higher good. And that's what you've been talking about. Now that I'm reading the thing, I hear those words and you actually have internalized this and you're actually out there working for a higher good, for a mission bigger than yourself, to help the people that are watching this. And I really appreciate you sharing it, because I think that is very inspiring. I feel the same way. I'm building a network for the folks that are in tech, the tech leaders, the tech business leaders. It's not my channel, it's your channel, it's everybody's channel. It's time for us to be heard too, because we're the ones that are making this change. And we have the ability to make this change. You talked about technology being for people. We have the ability to stand up and say, this is the way it should be done, because we're the ones doing it. Do you agree with that?
Alex, your community is a perfect example of something I talk about. This is part of my journey as an entrepreneur. Yeah. Many of the C-level folks I get to talk to on a daily basis feel the same way. There's an old saying is that it's lonely at the top, and it is.
Yeah.
When we can form community outside of our day-to-day, inside our four walls of our business, and talk to peers and meet people who understand the challenges where I don't have to explain. I'm friends with so many people who are my worthy competitors who run companies very similar to mine. I admire them for what they do, but I admire the people they are. And they're the people I pick up the phone and call when I'm like, I can't figure this thing out. Or, hey, I'm having a crap day and I just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell my team I'm having a bad day today, right? So communities, it's everything. In the end, what does success really mean? Imagining most of the people who tune into this and are in your community have done well for themselves career-wise, financially.
Yeah.
But they're probably also, many of them, at the point where they're measuring their true success and how they get to spend their time, how their family thinks of them, how their kids think of all of the stuff that in the end matters. Yeah. And I think community is everything. And I value what you've built, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it here.
Great to have you involved. This has been Alex Jarett with Technology Executives Club, Technology Executives Review, and Dave Dyson, founder of Eclipse. Dave, it's so great to see you again. Thanks for being on the show today.
Always a pleasure, my friend.